What is going on, Frankmeisters? Been a few weeks. How's everybody doing? Been waiting and waiting and waiting, and the day finally came today, guys. We got the transcripts from the audio in Judge Gull's chambers. And here in just a minute, I want to have Ruckus Rocks up here with me. We're going to go over these the transcripts itself and let everybody come to their own conclusions on what they think and what they thought took place in there, and if they believe she was in the right, Judge Gull, I'm saying, for what she did. But for the time being, I am going to go through the chat here and give a shout out to everybody. Leslie Kingston, what's going on, lady? Nedra, Olivia, Pam Hurst, Beth Gonzalez, Melissa, let's see, Purdue RN, yes, Metal Mama, let's see, Raggedy Susan, Miss Thang. Now, I got two mods in here right now, guys, and I always start my shows off like this. We will not discuss or badmouth or talk about other creators of my shows or in my chats. So the mods know this already, and they know what to look for. So thank you, ladies, for popping in and hanging out. Teresa K, good to see you. Stephanie, good to see you. Tech Dev, what's going on, buddy? Mustang, Katie, Jamie, Miss Hicks, it's good to see you. What's going on, JP? Oh, I'm watching others. Frank, do you need an aspirin yet? I've needed millions of aspirins over the last month. Let's see who else we got in here. I'm going to have Ruckus come up here with us here in a few minutes, and we're going to go over these documents that were released today, guys, like I said before. I'm just making sure I got everybody in the chat here. Cindy Hudson, good to see you. All right, let's bring Ruckus up here. Mr. Ruckus Rocks, what's going on, buddy?
What's going on, Frank? Hey, do you play that piano in the background? You tickle the ivories?
Man, let me tell you something, bro. Only thing I could play on there is Mary Had a Little Lamb, bro. And a little bit, I want to say, who sings Fats Dominoes? I could do a little bit of Blueberry Hill on there, and that's about it.
All right. Hello to everybody in chat.
Hey, Jamie, we're going to go over the audio transcripts that were released today and get everybody's opinions on what they think. And
the in-chambers transcripts.
Yeah, the in-chambers transcripts. And believe me and Ruckus have went through these, and we've only saw a couple things that really stood out to us that could convince the Supreme Court to allow Rosie to back on the case. But Baldwin, that sucker done kicked himself in the ass after reading some of that. So
agreed. But still, I would hire that guy in a second.
Who, Baldwin? Baldwin?
Yeah, but he got caught. That's what his problem is. He got caught.
Oh, and it's just like I was explaining to everybody else. I said, he said that he got stooped, bamboozled. And I said, no, he didn't. I kept telling everybody, I said, look, he's got a law firm. How many different attorneys' offices are in that law firm? Okay. How many employees?
No, I agree. But, I mean, Jesus, he went above and beyond to defend
it's not only that, dude. You're not going to tell me you had one conference room in there with all this stuff in there and everybody that worked in that office or in that building had access to that one conference room.
If that's how it happened.
Right. And that's what I'm getting at. I'm just saying, not everybody in that building had access to that case. So why was it just left out, allegedly, according to Mr. Mitch, left out on a conference table? Right there is gross negligence right off the bat. So let's get into these into this voice transcript. All right, let's see, where am I at?
Now, I did earlier, I watched Defense Diaries,
Yeah,
and Bob and Allie read the transcripts. He played Judge Gull and he did the male voices and stuff, but they did an excellent job. You know, they
right.
did a really excellent job. You can tell that Bob's been in judges' chambers once or twice. You know, they didn't add anything, I don't think. Some people that don't like them may say that they did, made the judge a little bit more snarky, but I think they did great. It was an easy flow. They both did excellent reading that.
All right, let's get this shared. Show screen, document, share. All right, let me know if you guys see that well enough. If not, I'll expand it out as best as I can. Give me a 1 if you can see it well enough. 2 if I need to expand it out, guys.
Anybody that's on their phone is not going to be able to see it. I don't care how big you make it. I've experimented with it.
Devoted to Mariah, good to see you. Bruce, good to see you, buddy. Who else is in here? James Powers, Robin B. Okay. All right. Here's page 1 of 29 pages, guys. Proceedings. Attorney Nicholas McClelland, Judge. I want to do some introductions. I finally got approval from our counsel to hire a paid attorney to help me. The court, okay, small town local government. So this is Jim Luttrell. And if anybody doesn't know who Jim Luttrell is, I did some research on him. He is an attorney for Department of Child Protective Services in the state of Indiana. So he's basically a family advocate for the prosecutor side of things. I don't think we need to really go into that. I just want to go into, okay. Well, I think that I've got, Jody's got our portable FTR going just so that okay, that's fine. That's Rosie the court. Judge, got a record. Mr. Rosie, obviously I'm happy to hear that the court's going to make some decisions on the pending pleadings today. And the court, Judge Gull says, Mr. Rosie, I assume Andy feels the same way. It's time to kind of get some closure, if you will, with regards to those items so that we can move forward. It's probably obvious that the tension from our side is coming from the words disqualification that were murmured in the phone conference that we had a couple weeks ago. I'm assuming you understand how that kind of raises the intensity level of the circumstances. And I guess if I have a concern today is that, you're going out on the blank kind of into the public, so to speak, in the courtroom on record and have a decision about an ongoing investigation. And that's what I kind of gathered from the email. I think you're invited Nick to talk about that if he wanted to. Judge Gold, Mr. Rosie, and it makes me a little uncomfortable because I don't know, first of all, that there are no pleadings that are being pending. Whether your motions to disqualify or contempt citations or whatever they might be, that really frame of any of the issues, and I have no problem. I mean, I don't have any problems talking about this stuff privately on the record in an ex parte type confidential hearing. I just think it's difficult to expect that there will be any kind of structure to the idea of, hey, there's an ongoing investigation and just tell us what's going on. And I don't know it has any relevance to what really trying to accomplish today. And I also don't know why Nick would want to talk about an ongoing investigation in public, knowing that and in itself could be a little damaging to their circumstances. And so we're lawyers. We're used to having issues framed, or what is that, as framed. We're used to having an opportunity to prepare. And I don't have anything to hide, and I know he doesn't have anything to hide. You maybe gathered that we cooperated. We ran into the state's police post, our respective posts, if you will, and I had somebody advise me of rights, and I waived all those, and I gave a formal statement, and he did the same. And I'm not sure that we're going to benefit or that this will be productive to just open the floor this, and that's my biggest concern today. Judge Gull, Attorney Baldwin, I'm more of a like the due process side. I'm not really sure what will happen, but I just don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, and I would like the opportunity to know what's going to happen and prepare for these claiming or whatever before it happens. And I feel like I don't want any. I do not want to say ambushed, but it's hard to know for me what to do when I don't know what's happening. There's not a pleading we can respond to things like that. So, you had indicated that, when Nick said, I don't know if he said the word disqualification, but the court, oh, he did, Mr. Baldwin. What was it that word? The court, Baldwin, okay. I didn't know if he just said it in a more generic way. Of course, Judge Gull was coming back with again. Here's Mr. Baldwin, and your response was, I'm leaning in the direction or something along those lines. The court agrees, saying, Mr. Baldwin, she's just going, she ain't really got no words coming out of her mouth. And so that's just, a cause of concern. I mean, we're still wanting to try this case in January, and I'm willing to do too. We have made changes at my office, and that will prevent this from ever happening again, and we can take directives from the court. We can, we're locking down every single thing in Delphi. It's in a dedicated room. We put locks on our conference room or the war room where this guy went, my friend, and went in and did this without my knowledge. And no document, whether it's being benign or something super, like a crime scene, is ever going to be left alone for a single solitary second ever again. So, I'm hoping that can be something that the court, can say, all right, that's fine. And then let's get on with the trial. But I'll shut up now. And then Judge Gold asked Nick if he had anything to say. Judge, I guess my plan today was to give the court a summary of the investigation. I've got witnesses here and exhibits to present that go forward towards the investigation. I'm more than happy to hand those over to defense. I know it may harm the investigation, but I think it would be important that the court hear these things. I guess the heart of the investigation, I think, is important. I think the importance of your hearing is outweighed by that. And so I have those things. I'm concerned that the leak is not just a one-time leak. The evidence that we have shows it's an ongoing leak. However, it's being done, and it's just what's next. That is, I have an issue with what's next. I mean, I spent the past 17 days investigating this night and day when I should have been focused, prepared for trial. And when I say night and day, I mean phone calls at 2 a.m., 3:30 a.m., night and day. And so that's where I'm at, Judge. Again, I'm an officer of the court. I'm reporting to the court what I know, and that's kind of where I see my role. Judge Gold says, okay. Mr. Rosie, this is starting to scream due process to me. I haven't seen any of these exhibits, and I don't know really, frankly, I don't know anything about any of this. And I'm not distancing myself from Mr. Baldwin. I'm just saying I have no connection with any of these people, okay? And the idea that somehow the prosecutor is going to get to roll out a bunch of statements and exhibits and, testimony without us having any forewarning or any way of scrutinizing that. seems a little outside the boundaries of due process to me. Plus, again, I get back to what is the relevance to what is going on in this case. Why are we going to use an open courtroom to air out ancillary matter? It's not really connected in any way at this point to the proceedings that are going on, whatever it is, the Frank's issue or anything of that nature. And well, we'll tell you this, and I am prepared to show the court this. I'd rather do it in private. This problem has been a problem from the very beginning. I have 10 pages of deposition transcripts in this file from my deposition. Our deposition that I took of Trooper Holman, in this case, in the deposition, he talks openly about how there were crime scene leaks from the very beginning. Excuse me. Unequivocally, crime scene leaks. And that as soon as this crime occurred, there were investigating information that had been released because there were people that were part of the search party, and the implication is, and I've got the transcript, is that these people that found the girl started to essentially discriminate or distribute information, and law enforcement essentially tried to catch up with them. But it was really too late, as you might expect. Once it gets in the hands of the public, it's too late. So he told us that. Almost volunteered that information to me in the deposition. The second concern I have is that I think I shared with the court, just as an example, a week or two ago, somebody sends me a court TV, and bit, and I can assure you, I never watched one of these bits on this case. I don't even know if I've ever really watched court TV. Maybe back when Simpson was ongoing, I don't know. And in that bit, Barbara McDonald is talking. 2 different occasions, she mentions how she's getting information from investigators on the ground that were at the crime scene. Now, we can all draw implications about that. But mostly importantly, I lost my spot. If we corroborated by the fact, I lost my spot again, that she was holding in her hand documents that I know to be directly related to the Purdue report. I mean, I saw the pictures. I know where those came from. And if, the point here is I'm going to say this maybe a little loosely, but forgive me. I don't care. I don't care that all this stuff is out there because it's been out there for 5 or 6 years. I don't have time. He doesn't have time. He doesn't have time to sit and try to marshal all of this stuff while this case is ongoing because there's no end to it. But the point is the court needs to have some context that this is nothing new. I'm lost asleep over that fact that there's a man who's dead that I don't even know, and frankly, and doesn't know, and it's tragic. I don't know what life circumstances he had or what surrounded this. None of that information has been shared with us. But at the end of the day, what's going on out in the cyber world and in the public, as you might expect in a case of this magnitude that's been publicized for 6 years, was beyond our control before even getting involved. You got any comments as of yet, Ruckus?
No, not yet. You're doing a good job.
I'll catch up with the chat as soon as I'm done, guys. There's like 29 pages, so just bear with me. There's even a guy in Florida who says the guy in Texas who leaked all this stuff has received from a disgruntled Carroll County employee a whole file filled with stuff and photos included. And I haven't even seen the photos that were leaked. I don't know what they are, I mean, if this could be set for a formal hearing in the future where we have a chance to do it the right way, then that's one thing. But, to go in there and we don't have any way to counteract anything. If I know what it is, I can. Oh, okay, I know what that is, or I don't know what that is. And it's, and in the meantime, I don't know. We honestly, this is the lowest point of my career right now, because somebody did what they did to me. And that has nothing to do with Richard Allen. And then Judge Gull, it certainly does not. Mr. Baldwin, Richard Allen needs to have counsel there. So I just don't want to go in there and not be able to fight back with evidence that or witnesses that we have to counteract whatever they claim that they have. So, okay, here are my thoughts. And particular order. This is Judge Gull. I don't know how many folks are out there, and I certainly don't wish to air publicly to the world the concerns that I have about this matter. My intent in having this hearing was to go through some of the pleadings that we have not yet decided. So I was going to start with reminding everybody about the dock room order, reminding everybody why we're here, to shut up, etc. There have been reports to my sheriff about disruptive people, and I will remind people, if there are disruptive, they will be removed, and my sheriff is fully prepared to execute arrests if necessary, because I know we've seen in our other hearings, people have been disruptive and hateful. So under the rules, under the canons of judicial conduct, I'm required to advise people within this room that the media is here and they are filming. They're doing pool coverage. So there's only 2 cameras in the courtroom, and everybody's going to get coverage from that. And then I want to talk about the pleadings. Defendant filed a verified motion for immediate transfer of custody. The state filed its response. The motion, again, has a lot of inaccuracies and some speculation, and it has been refuted by the affidavits that have been submitted by the state, and I'm going to deny the motion. The defendant then filed a motion for broadcasting order. The state filed its response. Your motion's overbroad. It's got a lot of irrelevant verbiage in it, and I'm required to consider individual requests for hearings. So I will. If the media wishes to have an individual request submitted, they know fully well how to do that, and I provided to counsel all those requests that I've got so far for this hearing. So if you want to file them for particular hearings, you're certainly welcome to do that. But the media is all over this, and they're not, and they're not. They know how to do this. And here's Mr. Rozzi, however you pronounce his name. Yeah, I was just trying to understand, are you suggesting you're going to determine that on a case-by-case basis or a hearing-by-hearing basis? And Judge Gull replies, by hearing basis. And Rosie says, okay. Then the court says, yeah. Mr. Rozzi, all right, okay. I just want to make sure I understood that. Judge Gull, the state filed its motion for leave of court to subpoena the third-party records. I think that was directed again to DOC. I clearly cannot grant that. I'm going to grant the defense motion to quash, which is basically his medical records from the prison. That's what they're talking about. But if you continue to raise this medical and mental health in pleadings, that's fair game for that to be provided to the state. You have also filed, Mr. McClellan, a motion for future pleadings and filings to be sealed prior to being released to the public. I've gotten a response from the defense. Mr. Rozzi, can I speak on that? The court says yes. I think it's important to note that, we've had this discussion come up before, and there was basically, we decided, okay, we're done sealing stuff, we're going to make it public. I had, before we filed the Frank's brief, I had a long conversation with the court reporter, Karen Allen, over the Delphi, because I wasn't sure about Eleanor Roller. I always want to call her Karen. Mr. McClellan responds by saying Allen. Mr. Rozzi, Karen Allen, because I wasn't sure about the mechanics of how all of this stuff was moving from Delphi to your office. And I know that you had to set up some kind of a website or something that people could access. And I was under the understanding, and in speaking with Miss Allen, I'm not blaming her for anything, but that when was we filed these things, they were going from them and they were being hitting a button. We were filing with Carroll County, they were hitting enter, and they were sending it to you, and you essentially filtered this stuff, or at least you were seeing it before it became public. And Judge Gull replied, no. And so that's the way in talking with her, that's the way I understood the mechanics, which I think is what happened to a pleading the other day, from what I understand. We filed something and you either put it in queue. I think anyway, I tried to do some homework on that, and that's what I was part of one of those conversations, and that's what she said. So does that need a hearing? I'm happy to have a hearing on that. Don't have a problem with that, Mr. Rosie. Well, I don't really. I guess I'm just telling you for context. That's what I don't know what that last word. I mean, could there be a happy medium of we file it confidentially, and then so the judge then gets a chance to review it first? Because that's what we thought was going on anyway. But if that's not what's going on, and then here comes Judge Gull. No, it's been filed confidentially, if marked as such, which is true because I've tried to get stuff and it was marked confidential. Mr. Baldwin, I know that now. I had my staff mark the memorandum confidential after it had been filed and disseminated to the public, because the actual warrant was in there, and that's covered under a miscellaneous cause number. I'm happy to have a hearing. Well, what is your ruling? I guess to make sure I understand, I don't want to fight about something we don't need to argue about. Judge Gould says, I haven't ruled on that yet. Give me a second, guys. And Rosie says, okay, you haven't filed a response, and that, yeah, according to Rosie, the court. My question is, do we need a hearing on that, or do we wish to file a response? The Frank's motion clearly needs a ruling, and I'm working on that. The motion and exhibits are about 1,500 pages, and there are hours and hours and hours of interviews that have been made available. That my IT staff has now cleaned to make sure they're okay. We already talked about that. And then, that brings us to my concerns that I had, that I raised with all of you on my phone call. And I write everything out. And this is what I intend to say in open court. I have concerns regarding the defense team and the totality of the circumstances surrounding your representation of Mr. Allen. Candidly, my concerns began at the hearing of November 22nd of last year. Mr. McClellan filed a motion for gag order, and we were in chambers, and you assured me, gentlemen, we don't want the media in our lives. We will not try this case in the media. And less than 2 weeks later, you issued an undated press release that contained an awful lot of information that would not normally be revealed. I don't know. I think you knew, or should have known, those were potentially violated rule of 3.6 of the rules of professional responsibility. But in that press release, that prompted me to issue the order December 2nd, granting the gag order until further hearing. April 18th of this year, you filed a notice of tort claim against the Department of Corrections. You stated in the notice that it was your intent to pursue our client's claim against you. The full amount of damages sought on behalf of my client is unknown. I don't know how you could do that in representing Mr. Allen in a criminal matter and then launch off into a civil matter. I think that's inappropriate. May of this year, we were notified by the state of Brandon Woodhouse arrest and the subsequent discovery of your work product. And I think it was an outline that you created for yourselves with the discovery, with the discovery. Now that's the discovery pages that were going around everybody. What they basically did is they got the discovery and they made their own index pages of what they had in discovery, and they put that out to Brandon Woodhouse, and of course he put that out there. Let's see. It was pretty detailed. I don't know if that's the right word. That apparently happened in December of last year, and that was not revealed to anybody, not shared with the court. It wasn't shared with you, although apparently you guys knew about what was going on. Mr. Baldwin, he didn't know. And then Judge Gull was telling Baldwin, you knew. And then he admitted that he knew. And then here's Judge Gull. So then Mr. Woodhouse gets arrested, and here we are. Grossly negligent to email that to the wrong Brad. Your pleading on the safekeeping order contains inaccuracies and falsehoods. That was proven in the hearing we conducted in June. The evidence presented by the state clearly demonstrated the falsity of your claims, and that was very troubling to me. And then the last couple of weeks that we've been dealing with, the state provided your discovery that has been severely compromised. We know we now have an ongoing investigation. I'm not going to call it a criminal investigation. I don't know what it, but it's clearly being investigated by the state of Indiana. Everyone involved has sought counsel, including you, Mr. Baldwin. You've had an attorney enter a written appearance this morning. I don't want to go into the investigation candidly. You are the constitutional authority for the state of Indiana. If you choose to pursue it, that's up to you. If you choose to abandon it, that is clearly up to you. I'm glad to hear that you have cooperated, but Mr. Baldwin's attorneys has clearly shared. I don't know if you've seen this pleading. Mr. McClellan, I saw it, Judge. Yes, I got it kind of late. He emailed us, and then Judge Gull answers by saying, okay. Mr. McClellan, I saw that was filed on the way here. Judge Gull, well, yeah, so he's clearly shared it in his pleadings, down to the fact that an individual has committed suicide. He included the fact that you left materials all over a conference room table accessible to anybody. And this is a friend of yours. Apparently you have consulted with on this case. So again, it's up to you if you wish to pursue that. I'm looking at the totality of the circumstances. You know, when I look at the suppression, the case law requires me to look at the totality of the circumstances, and that's what I am doing. And it pains me to say this, but the totality of these circumstances demonstrates gross negligence and incompetence on the part of the defense team. I am unsatisfied with the representation of Mr. Allen. I'm gravely concerned about his rights to have competent, non-negligent representation. He clearly doesn't have that right now, because what you have demonstrated is negligence and incompetence. Now, I'm sharing my thoughts with you privately. I do not want to say this in open court. I would encourage you to talk privately about what you wish to do. I don't want this coming out. It is not where we need to be with this case, but I will. But don't know that. You have just now been made aware of my concerns and where I'm landing. So if you wish to have a private conversation, I would encourage you do that. I don't believe your client is here yet. No, he's not. Clearly, need to speak with him as well. So, Mr. Baldwin, I'm not good at reading between the lines. Judge Gull fires back at Baldwin and says, you're a lawyer. That's what you do for a living. I thought that was pretty funny right there, my opinion. When you say you have a private conversation, are you talking about the four of us, or no, I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about accusing the state of gross incompetence and negligence. I'm finding gross incompetence and negligence with you, Mr. Baldwin. So Okay, so Mr. Rosie, forgive me. Go ahead. No, Mr. Rosie or Mr. Baldwin. And Rosie steps in. I mean, obviously, reading the tea leaves here, what you're giving us is a chance to do is bow out gracefully, if you will. If that's the right term, is there a scenario where the court would accept if I stayed in the case? I mean, I'm not. I'm a team player, and I'm not the kind of guy that just bails out on somebody just for the sake of doing it. But I think it's obvious that, he can speak differently. But I'm not as connected to some, these most recent circumstances as he is. Mr. Allen is in a situation where he's going to have counsel that's, if he has new counsel, it's going to take them a year to get up to speed with the depth of information that continues to come out. And so I think that his Sixth Amendment right matter. And, I'm probably the one that can at least move this thing forward with some sense of judicial economy. I don't like it, and that's not what I intend to do when I came in here today. But that would be kind of a worst case scenario on our side, I guess. And so is that option that the court would entertain. The court said no. Rosie, so basically what you're saying is you guys either quit on your own accord or you make me fire you. That's what, and the court says, no, I'm saying to you that this is what I plan to say in court on the record when we convene at 2:00. Mr. Rosie, well, so is the accumulation of that you're removing us from the case? The court says, well, I will based on what I've just shared with you. Mr. Rosie says, okay, well, I just want to make sure and the court says, I'm just giving you the opportunity to have a conversation. How do you want that to go? I don't want that. Don't want to do this. I don't want to do this, but if I have to. Mr. Baldwin, should we bow out gracefully? As Brad says, how would we even have a hearing? How would that go? Because if we're out of the case, then Mr. Rosie, then you're going to go ahead and rule on a bunch of stuff without lawyers in the room. That's court says, no, I would not do that. If you decide that your best course of action is to file a motion to withdraw, you could do that today. And I'll send Mr. Allen back to the DOC after you've had a chance to speak with him. Mr. Baldwin, would that happen before the hearing or after the hearing? Your motion to withdraw would happen before the hearing. Mr. Baldwin, okay, that's what I want. Yes. So right here is where Mr. Baldwin's saying he is going to withdraw. Clear as day, everybody. Yeah, because he has rights, and I don't want those rights compromised by having a hearing with him, not having counsel. I assume if you choose to withdraw that his financial situation hasn't changed and he would still be enabled to appoint court-appointed attorneys. I can't imagine that he has the ability at this point, to hire counsel. I don't know that. Mr. Baldwin, Brad and I need to go talk. Court, yes, you do. Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. McClellan, yep, thank you, Judge. They're off the record here. And here comes the court. Thank you, Judy. Mr. Rosie, all right. So obviously we're kind of trying to figure out how to address the issue with very short notice, very little notice. The first thing we did is really talk to the client. And the court says, okay, our client is a big part of this, the biggest part of this, and he has communicated to us that he does not want us to withdraw from the case. He wants us to continue with his representation. He understands, I think, that he's not the gatekeeper or he doesn't have the authority to really force the court to do that. We would like to say that on the record. He asked if that's what he wanted to do. We suggested maybe he do it in chambers. It seemed a little bit of a difficult position to put a man who's accused but not been found guilty, put him in a courtroom and have to speak in this circumstance within 15-minute notice. And I'm going to speak for myself. I'll let him speak for himself. I'm going to file a motion to withdraw. Now, is that Rosie saying that? Yes. Rosie, now he's saying that he's going to file a motion to withdraw. And there you go.
That's the second time he said it.
Yes. Okay. Do we need to go any further with this? I think we've made our point here that they did verbally say they were going to withdraw. I think
Yeah.
that's
Now,
all.
if you scroll up to like the first page, Frank,
Yeah.
Rosie is the one that said, "Hey, I'm the one that called this little huddle." So, and also, we know that Richard Allen wrote a letter to the court a week before this saying that I want these guys as my counsel. Please don't take them away. But then
Right.
they're acting like they were ambushed. They had no idea that was coming.
See, that's another point I wanted to make. They knew it was coming. They knew about this since October 8th. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, see down the
October 8th.
bottom of that page, page 3?
Yeah.
Read what attorney Bradley Rosie says there.
I already clicked it off.
Okay.
So,
he says, I'm the one that called this huddle. So how do you want to go? Do you want me to lead this or do you want? So he asked for that meeting.
right.
Now that said, right, I can see both sides of the coin here.
Mm-hmm.
Rosie is basically saying that, listen, I don't know anything that's going on. I'm not going to throw my partner under the bus. But Baldwin basically admitted that, yeah, all this shit happened, but he didn't know it. So, I can see maybe them letting Baldwin stay on the case. I mean, I'm not taking that off the table.
You talking about Rosie?
Rosie. Yes, I'm sorry, Rosie.
See, I do kind of see the point from Rosie. He's got his own law firm in Lafayette, and Baldwin's got his own law firm in Franklin, Indiana, and we blatantly see that Baldwin admitted to having all this stuff laying out on a conference room table.
Yeah.
Now, how is Rosie supposed to know that happened?
Yeah, but well, I mean, and also, he sent an email to a person named Brandon, not Brad.
Right.
So unless he typed in BRA and then just picked the first one and sent it,
that's a possibility right there.
Yeah, but he did not call Rosie and say, "Hey, did you get that email I sent you yesterday?"
Right. Exactly.
Once he realized what he did, he kept his mouth shut.
And then there's another thing that I wanted to discuss too was about the Sixth Amendment, the speedy trial thing. And me and you had a long discussion about this earlier today too. Now, a lot of people don't understand how speedy trial works. I'm not an expert on it, but I can tell you the things that I have learned and I've researched. In the state of Indiana, they've got, I believe, up to 100 days from the time he's either arrested or he was arraigned. He was arraigned on the 28th of October of 2022. And that's when he told the court that he was going to hire his own attorney. Okay. 2 weeks later, that's when he sent his first letter and says, I can't afford an attorney. Well, he was pleading to the court to assign him attorneys. That does not stop the clock when it comes to the speedy trial.
Right.
At all. He brought that upon himself. It doesn't the blame of the court whatsoever. And then me and Ruckus had somebody, I've been trying to get a hold of the CR4. Ruckus knows what the CR4 is.
Mm-hmm.
It's the actual document where he waived his right to a speedy trial.
Well, the CR4 is if he's incarcerated for 100 days and there's been nothing set up for a trial or anything like that, they have to let him go on his own recognizance or give him a bond. But the prosecutor said, okay, listen, we will extend this. We'll allow that. But the defense is going to have to eat that CR4. We're not responsible for that. You guys are.
Right.
Because it's basically his attorneys work for him. So it's his actions. So if his actions cause a delay in trial, then that's out the window.
Right. Exactly. And that's
but I think in Indiana, I read it today, actually, after you and I talked, it's 70 days from the day they put cuffs on him.
Right.
So he had to either waive the right to a speedy trial, but his attorneys kept filing for continuances.
And when they do that, it doesn't stop the clock on a speedy trial once again. They were filing all these continuances, which was delaying Well, they were trying to delay the speedy trial is the way I was looking at it. And
Yes.
I also noticed too that the prosecutor has a way around the speedy trial. And I'm not 100% positive, but in my own opinion, I think Nick McClelland did this at the very first hearing when he came out and told the court that he believes there were other actors involved. That's enough evidence right there to get around a speedy trial.
And I don't know how the laws work, right? In Florida, you have to waive your right to a speedy trial for it not to be done in 90 days. Now, I've seen verbiage from his attorneys, from the defense, saying, well, if we had that information prior to this, he would have filed for a speedy trial. So maybe in Indiana, you have to file for a speedy trial, not waive your right to one. You follow me?
Yep.
So, they've put that off. But the verbiage, everything that I've seen shows that the defense has been the one that's asking for continuances, not the prosecutor. So that throws that CR4 out the window. The prosecutor just wants to make sure that they're not going to try any funny business with that. But the new defense attorneys agreed to that. So
we got devoted to Mariah. They can allow Rosie back, but Baldwin's doing a lot of misconduct. I see him getting his law license or he gets suspended or something. Honestly, I do.
Oh, he's going to have a hearing by the board. Yeah, there's no doubt. And the thing is, that was part of the deal, too. The judge was being lenient with him, saying, listen, if we go out there on record, all that's on record. So anything that happens to you before the board for misconduct, that's going to be on record. So they'll be able to use it against you, But now that they fought for this and they wanted this out, well, now this is out there and on record. So.
Yeah, we got devoted again. She said, and for them to try to blame the prosecution for leaking stuff when they've been following the gag order. And see, I think what she's trying to get at is that Rosie made it clear in that transcript that the leak had happened well before they even came on the case, which we know there was leaking going on before they came on the case. Everybody knows that.
Well, I've heard Barbara McDonald saying that she gets her information from somebody close to the investigation.
You know what I'm talking about, the pictures of the clothing in the creek, all that stuff was leaked out a long time ago.
Yeah, that either comes from Erskine or somebody else, because there was some text leaked from him as well.
Right.
So all that stuff's been out and floating around. There's no doubt about it.
Right. And I mean, and then to be questioned about, well, I was watching the show you were on earlier today, and I didn't come up on the panel because I'm like you. I'm not sharing my work with nobody. I don't care who you are. I mean, you do your thing, I do my thing.
Right. We all have the same opportunity.
I mean, we all got the same objective too.
Right.
And that's just the way I look at it. I'm not sharing my work with anybody. If I do, it's very close people that I've been working with forever.
Right.
She's full of Leslie. Oh, great. Not a one-time leak. No, Leslie, there's been leaking going on. Shoot. I can't even go back to how far the leak has been going on. Thank you, Leslie.
What you're saying, Leslie, is that it's a well-known fact. Even during when they were talking to Rossi and Baldwin about this current stuff, Holman told them that, hey, listen, this stuff's been out for a while. We've known that those pictures were out back in 2017.
Oh yeah,
doesn't help the case.
You see, I talked to Jerry about that, about all this, about the information that I had gathered. It's been well over a year about the original leak, and me and him talked about it. And of course, these individuals are denying it all, like they did me. So there's no way of proving anything, because what we're finding out is the individual's using a spoof account who's ever disseminating all this stuff. So
now, what do you think about these transcripts? I don't see why she didn't want to release them. unless she was trying to help them out, say, hey, listen, if I release these, they're on record.
I mean, that's a good point. I mean, you also got to understand too, Judge Gull's made it very clear from day one that she took the stand on this case or took the bench, that she is overwhelmed with murder cases in Allen County. And I'm sure her court is overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm sure they're behind on stuff. They've got to be. I mean, she even admitted.
Well, that's one of the things that can stop a speedy trial that's legitimate, that they'll accept, is if the court is so overbooked that they just can't get to it in time.
Right. Oh, and she even admitted 1,500 pages, how many depositions she had to go through, how many exhibits she had to go through, audio tapes she had to listen to. This woman is busy.
But still, she is bound by certain things. She has 30 days to respond to that Frank's hearing. And she has to file to have an extension on that, but only if there's a higher court involved. And that's not what's happening here. All this stuff that's going on is because the defense filed saying that they were wrongfully dismissed.
Didn't Judge Gull file for an extension?
Yeah, for this information, not the Frank's hearing.
It might be included.
Well, you may be right, because the 30 days is come and gone. So
right, it might be.
Yeah,
included.
You may be right.
I mean, we've got a week.
Yeah.
But I think what everybody has been waiting on is this audio transcript. That's what everybody's been, and that's another reason why I haven't been doing any lives. I've explained to all my peoples in the past. I said, look, I'm not doing lives just to waste my breath, guys. It's pertinent information that I think that my input would help people understand a lot more. I'll go live, like this situation here with the audio transcripts. Mm-hmm. I've been on this for, me and you talked about this about 2-3 weeks ago, that I got word that she was going to release them, but we just didn't know when. And that's all I've been waiting on, because all the other stuff is just petty. It's just refiling of the same stuff over and over and over, or it's been refiled, redacted. There's no sense in going over the same stuff over and over and over again. Now
when she responded about these transcripts, she put that, there was a private meeting, that even if it was recorded, I don't have to turn it in. But obviously, the Supreme Court said, no, you do have to turn it in.
Yeah.
You got a super sticker from Leslie Kingston.
Yeah. Thank you, Leslie. Much appreciated. But yeah, I think she is going to respond to the Frank's motion as far as the Supreme Court is concerned. But is she going to have a hearing for it?
Well, she has to. I mean, it has to be addressed. But I think what's going on, Frank, is that once those attorneys were fired and new attorneys were appointed, I think it's up to them whether or not they want to proceed with that Frank's hearing. That's why the deadline was shot.
Well, I think they blew that when they canceled the bail hearing to hear the Frank's motion, and it didn't even turn into a Frank's motion that day.
Yeah, well, the bail hearing, they were supposed to have a bail hearing, and they turned that into a transport order. They want to get him moved.
Well, they ended up turning it in. It was supposed to be a Frank's motion hearing, and they never even did anything about it when we were in court that day.
Yeah, they keep changing shit.
Right.
But, I've seen some of the shit that they've seen. I don't blame them.
Well, I'm starting to think, this is my own opinion, that the more and more discovery they get, the more and more they're going to see that Richard Allen is guilty, and that's why they keep delaying.
They know he's guilty.
Yep.
They know. That's why they want that Frank's motion. They want to get some items thrown out that they can't explain away. So. But
I was listening to the show you were on earlier, and I seen that somebody was trying to get it out of you about the motorcycle cover.
Yeah, do your own work.
Yep, that's exactly what there's only a few of us that know about that.
Well, they say, well, I don't have the same opportunities that you do. Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do. You just put
in
the hard work.
I don't have a badge. I can't go kick people's door in and make them talk.
It's a lot of phone calls.
And relationship building.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You build a relationship. I mean, that's why it's taken me 2 years to get where I'm at.
Dude, I've met some good people, and everybody out there that's bad mouthing Mark, saying he's a piece of shit. You're wrong. You're wrong. And
he know he messed up. He knows it. I've talked to him numerous times, and he's
not a bad person at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
You know, from what I've seen and talked with him, he's not a bad person at all. He just got caught up into something he didn't know what the hell he was getting caught up in.
And people that are saying that he's using his daughter's GoFundMe to launder money and all that, they're fucking morons, man. They're so stupid.
I'm reading through the chat.
Yeah, stick to the facts. You know, work the case. Never mind all this bullshit.
Well, let's see what Jamie Hicks coming up with a 126-page manifesto that he got from YouTubers in a Discord is not professional, Mr. Baldwin. Boy, I bet he regrets that.
Is that how he got it?
I'm sure they probably went through everybody's channel and was pulling pieces out that would fit their narrative.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Bruce, no, Baldwin and Rosie are not back on the case as of yet. We don't know what's going to happen yet.
Well, here's my thing, right? And here was my question to people that are pro-defense. They're saying you cannot throw out that 136-page memorandum. Those other people, there's evidence against them. So I said, okay, so if you're a defense lawyer and they arrest those two people that were mentioned in that, and you have to defend them, what are you going to say? You're going to say it wasn't him, it was Richard Allen.
Hey, Jamie, let's get Jamie up here.
Yeah. There's no other alternate suspect that checks any boxes. None. I mean, they've got a guy who said he was there, said he was dressed in the same clothes as Bridge Guy, and they have evidence that ties him to the case.
Anybody wants to come up on the platform? I just posted the link.
And he confessed.
Yes.
Several times.
Yep. Jamie, you're more than welcome to come up here if you want.
Yeah, come on up, Frosty.
Who? Frosty? He's probably at work.
No, he said, I'm free if you guys want another guest.
Come on up, Frosty. I'll put the link in the chat. Get all these people up here today.
Yeah, right.
Let me put the link in here one more time.
You don't need earbuds if you're on your phone, Jamie. I'm on my phone, and I don't have any earbuds.
There's Bruce Davis. What's going on, Bruce?
What's going on, buddy?
What's going on?
Not much. So, you answered my question. Appreciate that. I was just wondering what that was. Is that all the stuff that happened, and then these are the transcripts, or?
Yeah, this is from the October 19th hearing where we actually didn't even have a hearing. They had a closed door meeting with the judge in chambers, and it was all recorded. And that's when Rosie and Baldwin verbally resigned from the case.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I remember you were talking about the new people, and then I remember that them old lawyers showed up, and everybody was like, "What the heck's going on here?"
Right. Me and support with Steffa and the murder sheet were all sitting there, and as soon as we saw them take Kathy in the back to see Richard, we knew something was up. Because you don't see that happening at all in any courtroom. In any courtroom, you do not see a defendant's wife being taken back to see him while he's all shackled up. You just don't see that.
Yeah,
Am I right there, Ruckus?
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it. That's weird. Like, but this case, that Frank and you guys know, like, ever since like somebody's been found and charged, this thing has really been crazy. More to say.
Well, the loonies are coming out.
Yeah, I would say so.
Well, they think we're loonies, so I mean, you have to take that
No,
with a grain of
no
salt.
way.
Yeah, they do.
Why would? Why? Because
Hey, hold on a
people
second.
care.
Hey, Frosty, if you want to come up, dude, I put the link in there. Hey, Queen. Hey, Nadra.
Everybody. Oh, sorry, Frank.
Good.
Everybody that I've known since I've known about like the case, people are doing it because they care about the family and the girls, justice and stuff. So yeah, I'm sure there's other people out there which they're maybe doing it for money, whatever it is. But I personally think that stuff like this, like it's just odd. Like this guy, didn't have attorney at first when they first arraigned him that quick. He realized by sitting in prison, that lawyers cost a lot of money. Obviously, he didn't have.
Well,
So
Frosty to the panel. What's going on, Frost?
Gentlemen, how you doing? How's it going?
All right. So, what do you think there, Frosty?
Man, I personally feel kind of bad for Rossi because this whole transcript kind of screamed that he really didn't do anything wrong. And I was watching some other creators earlier, and like pro defense, which is fine, but like they were kind of glazing over. Like Baldwin admitted to knowing about some of this shit like back in December and just not telling anyone. And if that's not gross negligence, I don't know what is. I don't know if you guys caught on to that, but he basically said he knew about the Brandon Woodhouse thing back in December of 2022, which is insane.
Yep.
Didn't bother to tell his partner or anything like that.
Or didn't even advise the court of it.
No, not like that. Yeah, no, there's absolutely no like that. He absolutely needs to be thrown off. But Rosie, I do feel bad for him because he didn't do any of that,
Well, the bad thing with Rosie is now there's a bad taste with him too. That's the problem.
Just by
the judge said that he lied to her 3 times too.
Well, that's just the association now. Like it's not obviously it's not his fault, but when it comes to these murder cases, you get 2 lawyers. Look at the one guy, the Idaho one. They have a certain amount. If defendants that are charged with that high of a crime, the worst one, they can have up to a certain amount. But any lawyer, usually it's always 2. So because he didn't know about it or whatever it was, okay, that's fine. But his partner knew about it. His partner didn't say anything because he didn't give a shit. I mean, excuse my language. I apologize, Frank.
Hey, Jamie. Good to see you,
guys.
This crap.
If anybody doesn't know, this is Jamie Hicks.
Hey.
We got Ruckus, we got Bruce Davis and Tom Frosty up here.
Hi.
So what's going on, young lady?
I don't know. I stayed up late. I watched Great last night. And then I stayed up so late I fell asleep earlier. But these documents though, what are you guys' thoughts?
It was exactly what we thought. I thought it my own opinion, because of what happened that day, because I was there. We knew something was going on, and then when we got word what happened, and then we started hearing trinkles about what was being said inside the chambers, but we weren't positive or didn't even know if that's exactly what was being said. And everybody's been so impatiently waiting on these transcripts. Well, what was said is basically what we were told. To me,
well, not only that,
I feel the same way Frosty does.
If they didn't do anything wrong, they wouldn't care about going out there in court and saying.
I just wonder if Baldwin regrets getting his defense strategy from that Discord.
Yeah, if I didn't do anything wrong, like shame me all you want. What are you going to shame me for?
Exactly. Well, let's put it on record. That would be in their favor. If they didn't do anything wrong, and it all went on record, and the prosecutor parades witnesses and all that, and puts up evidence, that would be in their favor. But they knew they were screwed.
Yeah,
They
and
even said that. Rossi even said that. I don't want to do this. You know.
Well, I mean, just for Baldwin to have Hennessy show up should tell you something right there.
Yeah, and Richard Allen doing that letter
Right.
before that date.
You guys got to remember that the emails and conversations between the judge and the attorneys happened around what, October 8th. So they
Now,
were
what do you guys think the Supreme Court is going to think of all this? Now that we know what was said.
I think this is kind of uncharted territory for me. I'm not well versed in the Supreme Court stuff with this kind of thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if they allow Rossi back on. But they're 100% going to read that transcript and they're going to say, well, he basically admitted to gross negligence, and in a high profile case, you just can't do that. And I think the Supreme Court is going to align with Gull at least on Baldwin. Rossi's up in the air. I don't know how that's going to go.
Well, I think Rossi has like a 50% chance, but there's 0% chance that they're going to remove Gull.
She won't. No, she won't be removed. No,
No.
As much as like I think she came off like she's snarky. I'm not a big fan of hers, but there's no way they remove her. If they remove her, I'd be very shocked.
Don't throw no dirt on my Fran's name. I want to get her a spa treatment when this is over. I feel bad for Fran.
Oh boy. Well, Jamie's been coming up with some good videos.
I really don't think. I think both of them will be put off because even though that he didn't know and the other guy had basically admitted it to the judge. I say they both go, but I mean, again, it's all up to him to fight if he wants to go back on. But I don't see the appeals process letting them go back. Going back after this, and I really think it's messed up, man. That they got
all Baldwin has done is played to the media. I mean, I don't know. That's just his strategy. It's a defense strategy, and it's working for him. I mean, Jose Baez. We all thought Casey Anthony was guilty as shit. He's making millions of dollars.
Hey, Ruckus,
at the end of the day, like all people are doing is making money for attorneys.
Hey, Ruckus, do you want to respond to WL22 here?
The Alex Murdaugh, he can get you a few badges to carry in your pocket. No, I've got one. I don't need any more.
I seen Big Red on the news the other day. Alex Murdaugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Red, he's starting to look good though. He's doing some prison sit-ups and he looks fit.
Nobody wants any of his badges.
No, absolutely not.
And this Ellen Hawkins, by why?
They admit they talk together. Oh, wait, Rossi and Baldwin don't talk. I thought you meant about Baldwin's defense team being in that Discord with like YouTubers.
I hope not. Oh, wow.
They are.
But
they brag about it.
Frank.
Oh, they bragged about being in the Discord?
I want to ask you a question. I don't know who else has been in the courtroom, if you get any of you guys here, but Frank, I know that you've been pretty much every time.
I've been there.
I know Randy's told me.
I have been there every time.
Okay, you've been there every time. Since day one of her being put on the bench for this case, I get she's strict. She's no nonsense. How did you feel about her the first time you seen her, Frank?
No nonsense type of person. She wasn't going to play the games.
I liked her.
I do too.
Yeah, I've been there. I think I've been to every single one, I believe, except Fort Wayne. I really liked her, but I mean, I can see where people are coming from with her. She's stern. She's matter of fact. I wouldn't want her as my judge. If I had her as a judge, I'd leave her a 1-star rating on Google. But
wow.
Yeah, no, she's.
I mean, everybody's got their opinions. I mean, you're entitled to them, and I'm not going to down you for that.
No, she's. No,
yeah, that's some hardcore
I'm
shit
saying
right
if I was
take it easy.
She's good at her job, is what I'm saying. If I was like guilty and I did, I wouldn't. She is very stern. She is matter of fact. I can see why people don't like her. I respect her absolutely.
But I can tell you what, Judge Diener didn't have the balls to stay on this case.
Yeah, I have. Oh, dude, I didn't mean to.
He knows that. I bet he's so happy he got the hell away from all this.
Yep. He sure did.
Yeah, I have a ton of respect for her. I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't want to do this.
And he's the one doing the Flora case, the civil suit.
Was
He's the
he
one-
really?
Yeah, he's the judge covering that.
I forgot. Oh, damn! I did. Okay, I guess I didn't think about that. Yeah, but still, I would. Oh, yeah. No way. I wouldn't want both of those. That's awful. No way.
Right. Exactly. So.
And
But-
Frank, you stay caught up on all these documents for us.
That's what I
thank you
do.
so much, Frank.
That's
You do
what I
such a
do.
great job,
Yeah,
man.
Frank. Thank you. Because I know because you put it in the Adobe thing that makes it easy to.
Frank has done amazing work, man. Since I've
Yeah, I
got to
like
know
Frank.
Frank, he's this guy. He cares.
He's
he
my
gives a crap.
MVP boots on the ground. He's been boots on the ground for ages now.
Well, I mean, I have to Randy, and but like Frank, when it comes down to like the people that were working together, like Frank and has just been the tops. The guy when he does something, we all know, man. He ain't letting go until things are done.
Well, I do want to insert something real quick. We were talking about the motorcycle cover a little bit earlier. Okay.
Oh yeah.
There is a creator who's been on this case from day one who mentioned about a motorcycle being out at the scene. He mentioned this a couple of years ago.
I remember that, Frank.
And I want to give shout out to this man because he does not get enough credit. Okay. I'm not going to say his name just yet, but when he was reviewing the bridge guy photo, he kept saying, man, he is wearing motorcycle goggles. He is wearing motorcycle
Right. I remember that. Yep. I do remember.
I vaguely remember that.
Because so many channels have come and gone and so many videos, and man, it's crazy.
Well, he still does his lives, but he's not covering Delphi as much anymore.
Okay. I think I know who you're talking about.
I think I know who it is.
Randy Gravett.
It is. Yeah.
Oh,
right.
Mr. Randy.
That's
Yeah.
right. Remember
He's the
that
one-
Randy saying.
He
Yeah.
I
brought,
love Randy.
he brought it
Me
up
too.
a couple years ago about
He sure did.
he thought that BG was wearing motorcycle goggles, and if that's the case, he said there was a motorcycle out here at one point in time. So I
He's
wanna
OG
give it-
boots on the ground too.
Yeah. Didn't did they ever find that motorcycle? Or because I know that I don't think Richard Allen had the motorcycle anymore, right?
No, I mean if they can't trace back the serial number or whatever they use, the VIN number for that motorcycle to somebody else, more than likely it's probably in a junkyard somewhere.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but it's when like Randy did that and said that. I mean, I remember that like it was yesterday.
Yeah,
And come to find out, people were like, "Oh no, that's crazy," But it was the whole point of Randy doing that was an easy way to get away. To hide a bike and then get out of there.
Yep.
So,
Right. For
Yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah. Easy for sure. Yeah.
Ruckus is keeping quiet. I ain't saying no more about the motorcycle cover, guys.
I'm back quiet.
We know, some of us know what the whole particulars of that motorcycle cover is, and we just can't say anything. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Some
You
people,
know.
some people have figured it out, and some people are still trying to figure it out.
Some people are close. Nobody's got it
Yes.
all the way.
I was
Right.
like, you gotta think it's you gotta ask yourself why would they take that?
But it's not only that. There's a reason why they took that, and that's something that
Right.
we cannot reveal.
Exactly.
Like I said, we do not want to jeopardize any integrity of this case
yeah,
whatsoever.
that's right.
Oh yeah. Shit. Yeah.
Do you guys think that Richard Allen definitely has some explaining to do?
Oh, yes.
more than? Oh God. Yeah.
More
No,
than
he's
that.
guilty.
Okay, good. I'm relieved.
More than that.
The YouTube community has turned into the Wild Wild West.
I mean, I understand the people that say innocent until proven guilty, but he was arrested for a reason, like
Yeah,
that.
but a lot of those people have grouped up together behind the scenes and they all have an agenda. I mean, I know I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but you know what? When
Well,
I
I
was
think
Free
everyone-
Britney, they called us conspiracy theorists too, and here we are. And guess who made all the money from Britney Spears? The lawyers.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
yeah, no, you're 100%. But I mean, like, I don't. They, of course, like, people with the same, like, ideas congregate together. Like, yeah, but like, I it, I think everyone's kind of gonna be in for kind of a shock. I think that I'm not 100% certain that it's Richard Allen, but I'm about 90% sure he's involved somehow. You know.
Oh, I'm 100%.
I'm 99%, and I'm about 90 to 95% that somebody else is involved.
Yeah, 100.
See, I
Yeah,
think that
I'm
too. Like,
very.
I'm on the fence on that one. Like, it just, man, that whole, when, the Keegan Klein thing, it's just, in my brain, it's statistically impossible for him to not be involved somehow, some way, or that Anthony
Well,
Shots account.
Well,
I
why
would
is
say.
his
Go
interview?
ahead.
hold on, let everybody talk. Not everybody's talking at once. Let everybody get their comments in, or questions, or statements in. Go ahead, Ruckus.
There's a
He's the
reason
Whoopi
why they
Goldberg. He's our
included.
moderator.
Hold on, Jamie. Go ahead, Ruckus.
There's a reason why they included his interview at Grissom Air Force Base in this case.
Say that one more time, Ruckus.
There's a reason that they included his interview at Grissom Air Force Base during the Wabash search. That's in the discovery. Now, why
Yes.
would they have an interview of Keegan Klein in the Delphi case?
Because
I
wasn't
can't.
he communicating on his little chirp account? Like, I think he was getting money in there for acting like he knew stuff about the case. And at the time, I believe the cops were just so trying to solve this thing that maybe they fell for some of Keegan's bullshit. I don't know. That I'm on the fence with what I go back and forth.
What the
He did
thing
gain a
is,
lot of weight up in there in honey bun money, y'all.
yeah,
I mean, he gained at least a hundo.
yeah.
Hey,
did.
I'm going to answer this question real quick from Olivia. How do you all know why the motorcycle cover was taken? We can't directly tell you why we know, but there's some evidence at the crime scene that's tied to that motorcycle cover.
Yeah, Olivia. And
I
Randy.
That's
hate.
all-
Yeah, that is 100%.
That's all
Yeah.
we can say.
Randy, this is a long time ago too, Olivia. And Randy said, and I had to even myself. Randy said, you don't say a word, and I'm not gonna throw my word out there to try to screw something up for somebody. So
Right.
I know Randy, and I know the reason, just like these guys. And
Who
so
knew that social media would affect a real entire court case? But it seems to be affecting it. It's crazy.
It is. Basically, social media is the whole reason that we're here today.
Well, the way I look at it is they're depending on social media for information.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Dude, if I'm a lawyer, I'm eating this shit up. I could anything anyone says. Like, there's people who put hours and hours of I hate to say it, but people who
I think
pour hours
Richard
and
Allen
hours
has
into
been lurking
bullshit.
the whole time on Reddit. I really do. I believe he had some alt accounts. He was probably in all of our chats.
I've heard rumors that he told, like, not confess, but he dropped hints to people, and I that's why I think, because people are like, well,
He told
they
his
said
bar buddy that he was the bridge guy. He told his bar buddy he was there.
Well, so here's the
And
people are
was
like they have no DNA, they have no electronic data, but that's not the only type of evidence that you know what I mean. There's interviews, there's
Right.
they could have a boot, like a shoe, they could have anything, and they don't
do
need
have
just DNA or.
and they do have electronic data.
I see. I've heard that Tobe said under oath that they don't. I don't know. I didn't really read up on that. I took it at face value, so I'm sure they do have more. Like, I'm not sure. I read it and I didn't really question it because it looked. But
in my own opinion, there is DNA.
Yeah,
you think so?
Yeah,
I think
DNA from so many people. I'm sorry for talking over you. Go ahead.
You're good. No, I just read that under oath they said that, but I'm thinking to myself, like, that's not all. Like, all it takes is even witness statements are enough. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, circumstantial evidence used to win cases all the time before DNA.
I mean, you have to be the unluckiest man in the world to be at that bridge and not only be there, be wearing the same clothes, and not only be wearing the same clothes, they find an unspent round that matches your extraction marks and all that. Like, you have to be the unluckiest person in there. And not only that, They went to his house. They found, and I talked about this before. It is a little bit of a stretch, but they found that gun. They found it tucked away with 19. They found two 10-round magazines. They found, I think they found 8 in one, 9 in the other. They found 1 in the chamber, and then they found a loose round. That's 19 rounds. With 2 10-round magazines, you should have 20 rounds. He's missing a round. What are the odds of that?
Yeah, what are the odds? Like, see, that's how I felt about King kind of being involved too, though. Because when I start thinking about odds, I'm like, but you're right. I mean, it's definitely, he's got some explaining to do for sure.
Yeah, I mean, naturally, you have to convince the jury that he didn't touch that gun for 5 years, but you're missing 1 bullet based off of the amount of rounds you can hold in your magazine, and they find the same caliber.
But they found a box. They found a box with rounds in it as well.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to remember, but I remember I did the math.
Cardboard box, a box of ammo like you buy from Walmart.
Yeah, okay, and there was 1 missing, right? I don't know, but it added up to 19. There should have been 20.
Killers do follow their cases closely. Like, I used to be involved with the Long Island serial killer case before the YouTube community picked up on it in the earlier years, like Web Sleuths and Reddit. And when I was looking at Rex's search history, I noticed a lot of those articles were posted from Reddit. And a lot of people speculated that he was trolling all the blogs and different things and calling people crazy. But I really do believe they'll come out with his alt accounts. These killers, they sit back and they watch all this stuff. It's crazy.
Listen, Frank, I got to roll, brother. It was good hanging out with you, and everybody in chat and everybody on the panel. Have a good night.
Hey, later.
All right, guys. Thanks, Ruckus.
All right, man.
I know. I think a YouTuber pretty much gave old Richard Allen Odinist defense for himself. Richard Allen's probably like, well, if I get caught, I'm going Odinist theory. I mean, damn.
Duke Newcomb's asking about the yellow rope at the crime scene. From my understanding, yes, they found some type of yellow roping, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was used during the crime. It could have been the rope they were using to pull up the baskets they were carrying the girls up the hill with.
That's my bet.
Yeah, they had to pull them up by rope to get them up the hills. And the baskets. That's how they got them up. So
you have such a nice chat, Frank. It's so refreshing. People want to talk about this case, but there's literally nowhere else to go because if you don't go with the defense.
I don't put up with the bullshit in my chat. My mods know that too. They know exactly what to do if somebody gets out of line.
That's why we try to be respectful in other people's chats too.
I'm one of these type of guys. I'll give you one chance, but once you break that chance, my mods are instantly either timing you out or kicking you out of here because I don't put up with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got this thing. We're all into this for one thing. It's about Abby and Libby. And everything that's going on right now on all these other channels really demonstrates to me they could care less about what happens with this case if they're out here causing drama with these other creators and other
They don't care about the families. I mean, they don't.
They don't.
Because, imagine being the family seeing this shit where armchair defense attorney people are trying to get, the person that murdered your family members off just over, some bullshit.
Right.
That's what I ask everyone to imagine if this was your family or these were your children that this happened to. And I'm not 100% sure Richard Allen's guilty, but I mean, there's some people out there that I feel like are just finding any and every way to defend Richard Allen, and I just can't get on board with it. And I'm all about having an open mind, but
together, I noticed a lot of them follow. There's the same crew of little people. They follow each other on Twitter. They probably all have a Discord together. I mean, and that's why it's the same talking points too, if you've noticed, over and over and over. But if you breathe into, Richard Allen could be guilty, then, you have 10 trolls pop in the chat and tell you about due process.
Yeah, and I'm all for due process, but
Me too.
We can't. He was arrested for a reason, and we have to let it play out. You can't just like what happens if he gets, if he took bail or something, and God forbid if it was him, he killed again, then a lot of people are going to look really silly. And not only that, I mean, I just can't, like, I understand that people, like, he is accused, he's not proven guilty. I get that. I try to see both sides of the argument, and like I said, I'm not 100% sure of anything. I don't think anybody is, because we just don't know yet. And people, they're like, yeah, we do know. Well, no, we really don't until we do. Like, that's just the thing. That's just how it goes. Unfortunately, we have to wait. That's just how it, that's the reality.
And
Yeah, I'm
honestly,
ready. I was so ready for this trial to happen in January. It was like my birthday too, January 9th. And I was like so ready for this trial to happen. And now these defense armchair lawyers have a whole nother year to grift off this case.
Yeah, what devoted to Mariah has got a good point here.
They must be a Tom Webster fan. Tom Webster must be getting trolls now. That's cute. Now you know he's made it officially as a YouTuber when you get your trolls.
Oh yeah. Devoted says I won't let some of these content creators live this down when it finally goes to trial.
You better not devote it to Mariah.
Well,
I'm
my
gonna be right
theory
there
is
with
on
you,
that.
girl.
What are they going to do when some of us were right? And
just keep playing the long game, Frank. You, Sleuth, Gray, some of y'all just need to keep playing the long game, because this will all play out how it's supposed to, and you don't want to be involved with any of that buffoonery over there.
Oh, believe me, I don't, because I've got one mod in my chat right now that will jump my ass if I got involved with them people.
Please don't.
If I'm wrong, I'll gladly admit. Like, I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong, but I just think, man, like, I'm on record. What's that?
This devoted to Mariah's known Tom for 15 years.
Oh wow. But I mean, I will, like, I have no issue admitting when I'm wrong, but I will say an Odinistic cult group did not do this on a Monday afternoon on a public trail. One person was seen, and I think there's different descriptions of the same person that those people saw. It wasn't a group of Odinists on a Monday afternoon. I don't believe that.
I think they're trying to connect all of the shadiness and all of the crap that's happened in that area with, like, the Florida fires.
Right, and yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I get it, like, but two things can be true at one time. The Odinists could have did all that, but guess what? Richard Adams
absolutely.
Some explaining to do.
I don't think it was a group. Like they try to make it sound like a group of people did it. I mean, it could have been one. Maybe if Richard Allen or whoever. I mean, maybe it was an Odinist, but I don't think it was more than one or two people.
It's how it sounded like. It sounded like it was a feud, but again, he's the one that's in trouble for it. And again, I agree with you. All right, like, I can't get on board with certain things. I can't get on board with, but right now I let the process work, because I've been told, and I hear things. Yes, I get it for some. There's a two-part, but when it comes down to it, you got to let the process work.
Exactly.
Obviously, we know what's going on. Slow down, and that's what one of these good defense attorneys, that's what they do.
Smoke and mirrors. I mean,
that's all they can do.
Defense strategy.
In my opinion, there will not be a trial, and I'll give you several reasons why I believe there will not be a trial.
Do you think he'll plea?
I think he's going to end up pleading eventually down the line. Honestly, I do.
I do too. You know why I think that, Frank? Because when he started eating all that paper and busting his little tablet and shit, it was right after he got the evidence, remember? Yeah. I think he was like, fuck.
They got all this on me. Oh, shit.
And he went nuts for a minute.
Yeah,
that's why I think he might plead too, because I think there's some damning evidence that we don't know.
And then
I'll tell you why they won't. Go ahead, Frank.
And to top that off, for one of his new attorneys doing an interview with the news a couple months prior to him being brought on, admitted to the bullet evidence was excellent evidence. Now, how are you going to have an attorney that believes the bullet evidence is good representing you?
That I kind of wish. Okay, so I said this before they got assigned. I said I hope it's somebody from far away. The guys are what was his name? Scrimmin, the guy with the mullet or whatever. I was like, I wish that they didn't pick people who have already commented on the case. I wish they would have went further
Right.
south or wherever. And that's 100%. Like I try to remain unbiased. And from my own perception, Richard Allen's screwed. And like I
I
said, I
think
do
he
think
knows
there's someone else
too.
involved.
That's why he was
But
like, okay, we're going Odinists.
well, yeah. Well, I mean, you got to think. You got to. He's at the bridge. He said he was wearing the same clothes. To me, it looks
Giving
like
out
there's a gun.
witnesses.
It looks like there's a gun in the pocket in the
Yeah,
photo.
totally.
I don't know for sure. It looks like it to me, in my opinion. And then they find the bullet, and then he confessed it. There's just a lot. Again, it's a lot of circumstantial evidence, but circumstantial evidence is still evidence.
Yes.
And
It
that's
is.
why I wish the attorneys were untapped, so to speak. I wish they were from like maybe I live about 2 hours south of Delphi, maybe like my area or further south where there's a chance where they haven't heard of it. Because I talked to a lawyer about a month ago for an unrelated thing. I was getting harassed or whatever. I talked to him about it, and then he's like he read my papers and he's like, Delphi. He's like, I don't even know what this is. I noted Delphi, I noted Flora to him. He's like, I've never heard of this stuff. So like there's a lot of people that haven't heard of this stuff, and I feel like they could have got a lawyer who had never heard of it, you know.
All right, Purdue RN says some YouTube creators are apparently working for defense, and I totally agree with that.
Oh yeah,
They
me
are.
too.
Some
Yeah,
of them brag
100%.
about it.
And I was talking to a producer for network television a while back, and me and a friend were talking to them, and they're like, we've seen like the defense plant, like we've seen this before, but they said Delphi was a whole other level. Like it was in the OJ case, Casey Anthony case, people that were implanted is a loose word I'm using, but they said they've seen this before where people are out there saying stuff for the defense, but they said they feel like it's at a new level with the Delphi case.
And by the
Yeah, a
way,
lot of these, but if you've noticed the trends on YouTube, guys, there's big business in these attorney channels. I mean, it's like starting to be a huge trend with these defense attorney channels popping up, commentating on all these cases.
Well, you know what I think is kind of hilarious is the Murder Street guy. You know, he's an attorney, but like he's not like a criminal lawyer or nothing. But you know, like he knows. But it's weird, like, you know, that him and his wife are always getting put on like the big time shows like Court TV, and I don't know. I don't understand it. It's like nothing against him, but he's not a criminal lawyer, and the way he talks, like he acts like he is one.
but what you got to
It's
understand,
intellectual property, I think.
Hold on, Bruce, you got to understand, he's still a lawyer. He knows what avenues to go to find out this and that as far as criminal law.
I understand that, Frank. And I'm not putting them. Listen, I'm not putting them down, or I just think it's funny because, like, you know, if I was to get in trouble and, you know, instead of getting a criminal lawyer, I decided to hire this guy, like, you know, I probably might be able to, you know, get a good plea bargain, you know, because I did it. But I'm just saying, yeah, he knows a bunch of people, but he does real estate, isn't it? Like it's just odd to me. Maybe it's just me and not you guys, but it's just weird.
I know, a little hinky. It's kind of
Grizmatic's in the chat.
What's up, Grizz?
He says, I got to respectfully disagree that the gun was in his
Grizz?
pocket. Hence, the girl saying he has a gun, in my opinion, it was on his waistline. I would have to agree on that also.
Yeah, that's 100% fair, Grizz. Yeah, I'm just saying what it looks like. I don't know for sure, but he had a gun. I think that's 100%. We know that.
Yeah, because one of the girls even admitted to it in the recording, from what I understand.
Grizz has some good videos on that.
Took this video because it did make this case go viral, and I hope that it does change a lot of things. You know, whether it be like the court systems or, you know, Indiana cleaning up their act. I don't know. So much stuff has been exposed because of those girls. I mean, it's this is iconic. You guys, this whole case, and so many people want a part of it. And the clout chasing is real. But you guys keep playing the long game, Frank, and one day you may be on court TV because they're going to be like, well, I remember this one guy on YouTube who was speaking facts before anybody else.
Well, I am not in no hurry. As you can see, I just started my channel in June, and I'm at 1,200 subscribers already.
Way to
So
go.
See, I'm not in no hurry. And that's what I explained to people. That's what I was explaining to people earlier in the show. I am not going to be one of these creators that's going to continuously go over the same stuff over and over and over. Like all these documents have been dropped here recently. There's no reason for me to do lives on them because they're the same documents that have been filed before, but just they've been worded different. Or something's been taken out of it, or something's been redacted out of it. There's no sense of covering them again.
Yeah, that Bastion guy.
Right, little things like that. So my take is if it's something that is important that the people want to know more about and want to learn more about what happened, specifically with the hearing and in closed chambers, that's when I come in and I'll go live just from the things that I've researched and learned, and I've pretty much got a grasp on how things are working in Indiana since I'm here from Indiana. That's when I'll go live.
Right on. Well, you should go live a little more now that people need a place to go to be able to chat right now, Frank, because it's like a lot of us, we go to multiple groups, right? Like I see a lot of people from Sleuth Crew in here, and it's getting hard to chat anywhere else, y'all. I mean, it really is.
That's why I stay away from all those other channels, because it's nothing but negativity, and I don't want that in my life, period.
Exactly.
It's
hard to get away from.
It's just like Arts of Deduction. I was in his chat today, and he wanted me to come up on panel, and I said, nope.
I went on his panel the other day. I had a good time up there. Frank's a good kid.
I mean, yeah, I understand he might be a good kid and everything, but when I watched earlier, hey, Randy, good to see you, buddy. Randy's in the chat, everybody.
Hey, what's up, Randy?
He was really trying to push the button on getting information that we cannot release, and that's why I didn't go up on his panel, because I knew what his intent was. And you're not getting nothing out of me. I'm not one of these guys that plays those games. I've been there, done that.
And I stopped, because I used to get stuff. I worked with Frank and Randy, and I could still work with Randy or Frank if I really wanted to. And if I get something cool. But the reason I stopped is I got blamed.
Here, hold on a second. Hey, Randy, I just put the link in the chat if you want to come up on the panel.
Randy, come on up.
Come on up, Randy.
See, that's why I don't do the Discords and stuff, y'all. Like
I don't do Discord. Yeah,
I've watched the case since the beginning, and I don't get involved with like the mess behind the scenes and working with other people, but I will hop on panels and stuff because I like to keep the chat going and support my little favorite content creators. But I've been around for a minute too.
Randy's coming. Hell yeah, let's go.
He's coming here in a second. Hold on. He just said,
I don't do YouTube's a pastime for me. I don't really try to make there's nothing wrong with making money off YouTube, but I don't do it to do that.
Welcome, Randy, everybody.
Therapeutic. Hey,
Randy.
Hi, Mr. Randy.
Hello, Jamie. How you doing?
Hey, we had to talk about you a little bit earlier. I had to give you props earlier today.
Oh, cool.
About the motorcycle goggles.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Remember, me and you had this discussion when I found out about one of the pieces of evidence, and I called you about it, and we talked about it, and I made it very clear to everybody that you're the first person that I knew of over the last almost 3 years that had mentioned something about a motorcycle.
Yes, because Randy, I talked to Randy about it a bunch of times, and he explained just probably like he did you, Frank. I mean, it was something that was just like, it's only like the quick thinking is, okay, is it quick enough that, Randy even went out and did a live video and showed us how easy it would be to hide the bike.
I gotta hop off, guys. Peace and love, y'all. Thanks for having me up, Mr. Frank.
Thank you, Jamie.
Nice meeting you guys.
Thanks, Jamie. Have a good one.
Cool.
So That was great.
So yeah, if that comes in court, that would be great.
Yes. But I did have to give you props because you're the one that noticed it from the get-go, and it was just blown to the wayside because nobody knew anything until you get the ISP evidence logs from the search warrant at Richard Allen's house. And then when I saw
Motorcycle
that,
cover. Yep.
yeah, when I saw that, I immediately called Randy.
Oh yeah, because there's another person who subscribed to my channel, South Beach. He's in Florida. He went to one of the special places that makes goggles and stuff for
Yeah.
special motorcycle events. And he said, well, Randy, they said, yeah, those are type of special goggles to wear on motorcycles, dirt bikes, or whatever. But he said, you're on track on that. It does. He showed the photo to him. He said, yeah, that looks like a special dirt bike goggle they wear.
Yeah. And it just clicked in my brain as soon as I saw that. I was like, man, Randy brought this up a couple of years ago about motorcycles and motorcycle goggles, and I was like, let me call him real quick.
I told Becky, I said, look, that's motorcycle goggles he was wearing, special type motorcycle goggles.
I'm gonna let y'all. Oh, that's Greenlee. Okay, I thought you were talking about another creator. So, but yeah, I'm about to end it here, guys. Here in just the next couple minutes. Is there anybody got any final thoughts or anything they want to say?
I just want to thank Randy for having the idea to do a Flora Memorial Walk. We did that yesterday, and there was like 30 or 40 people that were there. It was awesome.
That was nice. That was nice.
We had
go ahead, Randy.
We had like 3 people from Flora showed up to our walk. So
that was a great event that you put together there, Randy.
Everybody enjoyed it. I'm glad that Anna's mom, Rye, there, and the girl's aunt Jackie was there.
Yeah, I saw Galen was there too.
Yeah, no, Galen wasn't there.
Oh, that must have been the aunt then.
Jackie.
Yeah,
okay.
Galen's out of state, so it's hard for her to get in.
Yeah, we were hoping maybe next year she'll come. Next year, we just got to figure out arrangements for next year. Maybe she'll come.
Right. But all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to call it the evening. We've been on here an hour and 45 minutes. I want to thank everybody that showed up tonight in the chat, especially my mods. Thank you. And to Leslie Kingston for the $10 super sticker. Thank you very much. Randy, Bruce, who else we got in here? Thomas Frost, Jamie, Ruckus. Thank you guys for all showing up and coming up on the panel with me.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Everybody stay tuned because you know how I am. I'm up at 8 o'clock every morning watching my case and docs pop for any documents, anything that are coming out. I will get those out to everybody as soon as possible. And if it's something that's worth discussing on a live, I will set up a live stream and we'll discuss it. But until then, thanks guys for coming up on the panel and having a decent adult discussion.
Of course.
With everybody.
Yeah, thanks, man.
But until next time, peace out, everybody. One love. Good night.
See you guys.